you ever tried changing your life, but after a few days you end up back in the same patterns that you were before? I'm going to tell you exactly why, because it's not that you lack motivation, it's that you haven't changed your identity. I really trust that God and the universe will put this video out there to anybody that needs it. I'll tell you absolutely everything I did that changed my whole life forever. Hi guys, it's Lucy, and I had a moment recently where I have changed my whole entire life. This change didn't even take that long. Years and years and years I've been trying to change, tried to change my routine, tried to do everything on the outside, but nothing was changing. And I went from being the most unconfident, insecure person in the world. I had anorexia. That is how much I hated myself. I didn't even want to let myself eat. I didn't want to let myself live another day. I couldn't even look people in the eyes, you know, my family. I didn't have a connection with people. This self-hatred brought me to rock bottom. It all stemmed from hating myself. I feel so grateful for this rock bottom because it's taught me things that are actually gold to life. And if you ever want to change your life, this is the things you need to know. I actually went to a cafe recently and I wrote in my notebook because I was like, what have I done? I have gone from the bottom of the bottom to my entire life changing, to my entire identity changing, just have got everything I ever wanted, to be living a life the way I always wanted. And I was like, what have I done? Because my passion is to help people. I've always wanted to help people, but I couldn't even help myself at one point. So I was thinking and I was like, I need to know what I've done. I need to figure out what I've done. I took myself to a coffee shop with my notebook and I literally wrote on the title, what have I done? How have I gone from being so unconfident, unable to eat, having no worth, having no purpose, waking up every day in dread to another day, to now waking up happy and grateful and genuinely living the life I always wanted to feeling so confident with who I am and not needing any validation from anyone else. This was just worlds away from what I was. And when I tell you my hand did not stop writing, I have wrote pages and pages and pages of information here. But the main thing I came up with is I changed the identity I have been wired to believe I am. If you take anything from me at all, let it be that quote. I changed the identity I have been wired to believe I am. My whole life I've let my environment, I've let other people's opinions decide who I am. And the saddest part is everyone seems to be doing this. From small events in school when someone called me ugly, my whole life I have been wired to this belief that I'm insecure now, that I'm ugly. And this manifests on the outside. You know, the more I told myself I'm an insecure person, the more it was manifesting. But to the point where I ended up with a really bad eating disorder because I was telling myself I'm so insecure. The thing is, what your brain believes you are, your brain will give you proof of it. So if you're telling yourself you're insecure, you're unconfident, you can't do this, you can't do that, your brain will give you proof and it will manifest in the outside that that is true. This is how our brains work, but people don't tell you this. This program is running you and you need to change it, otherwise it will run you forever. And a question I want to ask you is, did you choose your identity or did you let your environment or other people's opinions choose it for you? Because without realising it, you've probably done this, but let me tell you, you can be anyone you want to be and you can do anything you want to do. The reason why you might not believe me when I say that is because you are chained to this identity that doesn't think you can. Not that you lack discipline or motivation, but without changing your identity that you're wired to, nothing will change. Think of something right now that you really want to do. Say a goal that feels so out of reach. The reason that feels out of reach is it's your identity that you've been wired to doesn't believe you can do that. Once you change your identity and behave like someone who can do that, guess what? You'll be able to do it. And this is how it works. People will tell you, if you want to do something, just believe in yourself. That's the worst piece of advice you could listen to, because who are you believing in? Do you even know yourself? To believe in someone, you have to know them. So how are you meant to believe in yourself if you don't even know yourself? One of my mentors once said to me, "Who are you?" And I was like, "Lucy?" No, that's your name. That's not you. And the tragedy is not a lot of us get to know who we are. We think we know who we are by our name, by our identity that other people have told us we are, but that's not who we are. It is crucial that you choose your identity, because this identity is going to take you wherever you want to go. And without this change, nothing will change. You're wired to the same program. This is why you do the things you do. When I had anorexia, I couldn't actually understand why I was starving myself. Did I actually want to be really skinny? No. Did I want to be starving myself? No, but I kept doing it every single day. And I actually couldn't understand why. I got severely underweight. I knew I needed to eat. You know, doctors were telling me. I almost wanted to eat, but I couldn't. I was still doing the same thing. It's because I was linked to this identity. This was who I was linked to, so I was acting like that. Why do you do the things you do? It's because of who you think you are. Now, once I changed this, every single thing in my life changed. Once I decided, hang on a minute. So I believe that I'm insecure and I'm ugly because of a few comments I had in school from people who are not in my life now, from people who I wouldn't take advice from if they were the last people on earth. I'm still linked to this identity. This is shaping my life. This is shaping my career. This is shaping everything I do. Like, guys, this is unbelievable. So little people know this, and this is why people do the things they do. Why do you think some people succeed in life and some don't? Do you think there's just special people on the earth who can be rich? Like only these special few selected people have the skills to be rich? No, think about it. Some of the smartest people you know are not even earning a lot of money. And there's people who are not smart at all who are rich. It's because they believe they can. They know who they are and they know what they can achieve. The thing is, once you do that, everything changes. But until you do that, nothing will change. You are acting in alignment to who you believe you are, and you are attracting everything in to who you believe you are. So you have to change it. You know, my life changed like night and day once I knew this. Nothing else I have ever done or learned in the past changed me like this did. Do you know how much potential you have? Do you actually know how much potential you have? You are God's highest form of creation. You cannot live a life limited because your identity is limited. That's the only reason your life is limited, because you think it has to be limited. We are quite literally floating in the universe and you think your goals are not achievable. That is absurd. That is absolutely insane. You just need to know who you are. And you might say, how on earth do I do that? The first thing you need to do is write down, who am I? The best way to do this is think about who you want to be. Think about the things that light you up. Think about your passions. You know, your passions and interests are there for a reason. A lot of the time people have these goals. They think, oh no, that's just ridiculous. I don't even know why that's come into my head. I'll never be able to achieve that. Are you insane? Like, these goals are with you for a reason, and it's because there's a part of you that knows you can do better, that knows you are worth more than you're giving yourself now. There's a part of you that knows. If you've got this far into the video, you know you deserve more, you know you can do more, so you need to do it. So I urge you to write down, who do you want to be? How do you want to live? How do you want to show up in the world? What goals do you want to achieve? Do not write what you think you can. Do not write, I'd like to earn a little bit more money, because you know you can do that. You know, these days it's really not hard to earn money. You can quite comfortably live these days without actually reaching your potential. But it's how high above this do you want to aim? How much potential do you want to know you have? Because I'm telling you now, it is unlimited. The only limit is in your mind. Trust me. You know, when I say my whole life has changed, nothing on the outside changed. Nothing happened on the outside that changed. It all happened in here. But guess what? We are the only species on this earth who have the ability to change our environment by changing our way of thinking. Anything else in us we can find in a pig or a horse. The only thing that separates us is the power of our minds. And not a lot of people figure this out. Not a lot of people even know they have this, and that is genuinely the biggest tragedy on the earth. You know, this is what people do. They play the game of following the follower, but who are you following? Who are you taking advice from? The thing, if you don't know what you want to be and what you want to do in your life, how are you going to get there? You're not. You're just going to walk along and do what everyone else is doing. But have you ever thought, do they know how to live? Are they in the exact place that I really want to be? Are they as happy and fulfilled as I want to be? Like, who are you following here? I used to take advice from anyone. I used to think I had to follow other people and I had to do the careers that they were doing, but I knew I could do that, so it was easy, and I thought, that makes sense, I know I can do that, let's do that. You know how unfulfilled I was? It's because we have this potential in us that is urging to get out. You know, the God and the universe will work with you. They just want you to realise this. Knowing this information seems to be a secret, but if you look back through the greatest people of all time, they all knew this. Tried to tell us it. It's in the Bible. Shakespeare talked about it. Albert Einstein spoke about it. Every great leader knew this. For some reason, it literally remains a secret, and I don't know why. And the key is, when you've found out who you want to be and where you want to go, you have to act now. You know, for so long, I knew who I wanted to be. I knew where I wanted to be. I said, okay, when I've got this, I'll do it. When I look the perfect way, I'll do it. When I've got this person in my life, I'll do it. When I know this, I'll do it. No. You know, it never came. Doing that never came. One day never comes. All you've ever got is the present moment, so you have to act in the present moment. The more you wait and wait and wait, the more it'll never come. Like, trust me on this, you have to act now. This is the key to life, is not letting your environment affect who you are. Everything you're chasing is a feeling. You're chasing that job because you want the feeling of security and the feeling of success, the feeling of love, the feeling of joy. Where do these feelings come from? They come from you. Like, you give yourself these feelings, but you have to give yourself these feelings now. This is the only way it works. You know, people talk about law of attraction and say thoughts become things, which is true. You do become what you think about. Without feeling it, it'll never come. Law of attraction is actually a secondary law. The primary law, the most important law, is the law of vibration. Everything around us is energy, and to get to your goal, you need to be vibrating on the same energy. And the only way you're going to get there is with a feeling. You have to show up every single day as the person you want to be, regardless of your environment. This is a skill, and when you master it, the world is yours. I know I'm going to write a book one day because I have been through so much in my life. It's taught me everything, and I know I'll write a book. Do I have proof? No. Do I have any experience in writing? No. But see me in 3 years' time and I'll hand you the book myself. This is how delusional you have to be. People will call it delusion, but it's the only way it works. Also, what's the alternative? Like, do you want to just be realistic and live a realistic life, a limited life, when you actually don't have to do that? One of the greatest things I ever learned is being realistic is a fear of disappointment. If you failed at something in the past, you now have a belief that you won't succeed. All this is reinforced, this becomes a real belief. And now you say you have to be realistic because you're scared of being disappointed again. It's the most tragic thing I've ever heard. You don't have to be realistic, you just have to know the laws of life. You have to know how to play this game. Like, life is a game, but if you don't know the rules, you're gonna lose. You're going to end up with nothing but regret and wishing that you could do it all over again, but let me tell you, you won't be able to. And you know, I don't care how many people this video reaches, if it's 1, if it's 100, I will speak and speak and speak about this until I die. This is crucial and it's the only way to win. So I urge you, stop limiting yourself. You are not a limited being. You are God's highest form of creation. Do you think you were put on this earth to suffer? Do you think you were put here to be realistic? That is absolutely insane. You were not put here to be realistic. You were put here to figure out who you are and what you can give. When you work on yourself and heal the relationship with yourself, everything else changes. You become a better friend, you become a better daughter, you are a better person. So quit thinking it's selfish. It is the least selfish thing you can do. Because let me tell you, you are going to show up so much better in the world when you've worked on yourself. Because you're confident with who you are. You know who you are now. How can you be confident when you don't even know who you are? Once you know who you are and you show up every day as that person and you can do everything you put your mind to, you are a better person. You're a better person to everyone. The world needs that. The world needs you. You have so much potential and so much power. You just need to realise it and realise how to unlock it. And then, as the title of my book's going to be one day, the world is yours once you know this. So that is it. I've told you one of the greatest secrets of all time. To continue teaching everything that I know on here. I've done this because I am over on TikTok. I feel sometimes it's a bit too short and I want to get absolutely everything I can out there. Something in me that told me I need to come onto YouTube. I do believe all my struggles have led me to this, and I believe that my purpose here is to help other people too. I hope this helped, and I know this would have found you for a reason. Just know you have absolutely everything you need within you right now. Bye guys.